Okay, guys, so you're thinking of moving to Columbia, South Carolina, but you're still wondering what more is there to do here. Well, in this video, what I want to actually tell you about is more of the outdoor aspect and the tourism and how it affects the economy to the beach, downtown, Riverbank Zoo, the mountains, all of that. We're actually going to be talking to Willie Simmons, whose degree's in biology here, and he has dealt with this in 30 plus years of his life. We're going to talk to him and all the way from boating, fishing, hunting. And if you stick around to the end, we're actually going to talk about some of those lesser known aspects. You'd be really surprised to hear some of the ways South Carolina does make their money in tourism that way. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Columbia, South Carolina and the surrounding area, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell, and you can be the first to find out the current market here in Columbia every time that we post a video. As I said before, my name is Chad, and I get to hear from people just like you every single day, and I love it. I get to help more people every time I do. Give us a call, text, email, better yet, go ahead, go into my calendar. All the information's in the description below. You can go into my calendar, set up a 45-minute Zoom call. We can tailor a plan. Not only do I get to meet you, this is a relationship business. So not only do I get to meet you, but we can set up a plan, customize it to you with the MLS search, not just a Zillow realtor, who a lot of times they do lag behind. We'd love to be a part of that process and helping you buy, sell a home, or in your process moving here and even giving you more information. So let's go ahead and get right into it. When it comes to anything outdoors, I do a lot of hiking. I do a good bit of camping, boating. Grew up here from Lake Murray to a number of places. But when it comes to hunting and fishing and things such as that, the economic impact that it has to South Carolina, you do not want to hear from me. So I am bringing Willie in, who has done this pretty much all his life.
Hello, my name is Willie Simmons. I'm a graduate of Clemson University. I am an avid outdoorsman. I have always been here in South Carolina. I've worked here all my life growing up, and I've always been in the outdoors. One of the things that a lot of people are starting to realize about South Carolina is there's an incredible amount of diversity as far as the number of lands. And what makes this so exciting is that you have the opportunity to go out and actually enjoy these species. And this is because of the incredible job that the state has done protecting these wildlife areas and also making sure that these species are available, or these animals are available for people to enjoy. Some of the animals that people love to just go out and maybe film, but also hunt, are going to be our deer populations and our turkey populations. When you look at, if you were to live here in Columbia, South Carolina, we have the U.S. Forest Service that's north of Columbia, the Sumter National Forest, and the Francis Marion that's south of us. And also we have many lands and can actually participate in hunts. And this is starting to draw a lot of attention from around the nation. People are seeing that it's a little different here. There's a lot more access and a lot more animals for them to enjoy. When you start to look at just the state lands that are near us, you're looking at close to, oh goodness, 20 or 30,000 acres where someone can go out and participate in these different activities. Something else that people love to do, besides just looking at the big game of deer and turkey, a lot of people are overly fascinated by the bears that we have here in South Carolina. So we have two large populations of bears. One is around Greenville and the Clemson area, and the other one is over just north of Myrtle Beach. Something else that draws people here, what we like to call small game. There are a lot of animals like dove, quail, rabbits. We have about 50 dove fields that the state prepares every year that are almost in every county where people can go out and they can participate in hunts. Those will usually take place on Saturdays. So this is something that people really have a great time with. Something over the past few years, there's some animals that don't quite fall into the arena of what we would call big game that we pursue. South Carolina also has a large hog population or feral hog population. These animals can do an incredible amount of damage to the area, but they are also animals that are also hunted within the state. And many people are calling trying to figure out where these animals are, where they can participate in hunts. And this is big business. There are a lot of people on private lands as well as public lands taking advantage of this population. South Carolina has a huge alligator population. That alligator population starts around Columbia, South Carolina, and goes south down toward Charleston in the lower part of the state. And they usually issue about 1,100 to 1,200 tags for the alligator for the alligator hunts, and they are sectioned off by sections of the state where you can actually hunt.
Now, I'm assuming a lot of these have hunting seasons, so you can't do it year round.
Correct. South Carolina has one of the longest deer seasons in the nation. So we start in August and we go all the way to January 1st. Our turkey season, of course, is April and May. The dove season is always usually the first Saturday in September and goes through January. A lot of the other seasons, of course, these are posted. Check those or double check those on the DNR website as far as when those populations are open to be hunted.
A lot of the people I grew up with went out on their own and it did private clubs, whether it was deer hunting, turkey, different things. And those are a little more expensive. But even from a tourism aspect, a lot of people are moving here for many of these events. But the state also offers things from drawings to things that you can do for free coming out, from father-daughter, father-son type hunts.
Yes.
Correct.
There are hunts that they put on that are specifically for parents and their children. Those are free. There are lottery hunts where you pay a small fee, maybe $10, $20 to put in for the lottery. And those are for, like say, deer hunts on certain properties. And those usually start, I believe, in August, where people can put in for the lotteries. Those are a good option. The other thing is, if you just want to hunt for free, you can hunt during the season. Now, those lands are open. There are maps that are put out. Those maps are online. And you can see where you can go during that hunting season, and you don't have to pay anything except for a hunting license. If you're only going to hunt within a county, you can look at your license list and get just your license for that county. And if you're not going to include small game and fishing, then you wouldn't need a sportsman's license, which covers everything.
Perfect segue into fishing and everything that South Carolina has to offer.
Oh, fishing is something, one of my favorites. I love to go fishing. When you look at South Carolina, we have a lot of large lakes. So we got Lake Murray here in Columbia. Just south of Columbia, we have Lake Marion and Lake Moultrie. These lakes have an incredible amount of population as far as the fisheries are concerned. So there's largemouth bass. We also have people doing catfishing events and catfishing on those particular lakes. The competition, the largemouth bass competitions around the state are fierce, and there's an incredible amount of money associated with those. If you look to the upstate, we have Lake Jocassee, Kiowee, Lake Hartwell, and even Lake Riley that are involved in this as well. So the other thing to remember is we have an incredible river systems here in South Carolina. Just here in Columbia, we have the Saluda, the Broad, the Congaree. When you look at those rivers, the Saluda is one of the few areas that you'd actually be able to fish for trout. Remember, trout is a cold water species. You can also trout fish in the upper part of the state in Greenville, Pickens, and Oconee, where they're also stocked in those areas as well. Another big thing is people love to fish for striper here in Columbia. You can do that on our rivers. You can fish for stripers on Lake Murray, and it's an incredible fight that you get. There's an incredible amount of activities that are available as far as our fisheries are concerned.
One of the questions I get all the time. So you talked about the big gator population in South Carolina.
Yes.
Where are gators not when you're fishing and you can go trout fishing and all that?
Well, here's the fun thing about the alligators population. So usually around Columbia, anywhere south, even over to Aiken, going south, and even in Kershaw, which is just right beside Columbia. All of those areas going south are going to have alligators. Now, you can't have alligators further north, but it would be because someone caught an alligator and released it. So if you're in the upper part of the state, let's say Spartanburg, Greenville, you should not be running into alligators, or there would not be a large alligator population unless somebody moved an alligator there.
I've talked about many times where, going by your information, where the Saluda combines with the Broad into the Congaree.
Yes.
So the Broad and the Congaree can have gators. But where the Saluda River is, it's coming down from upstate in the mountains. The water's too cold. And even into Lake Murray, you do not see anything like
You
that.
haven't seen any alligators in Lake Murray yet, and right, you will not see any alligators staying in the Saluda. The Saluda's waters are too cold for a cold-blooded reptile like alligators. They really don't like that. But as soon as you get into the Broad River and the Congaree, yes, you will find alligators.
We don't talk about here in Columbia as much, but because we have so many beaches from Edisto to Myrtle to Charleston, all the way up into even different beaches in North Carolina too, but that you can access here. There's a lot of economic impact with the coastal fishing too, is there not?
There is, and both when you look at the fisheries and also look at the hunting, the economic impact of those outdoor recreational activities are going to the billions of dollars. I think around 2.5 or 2.7 billion as far as their economic impact. More and more people are starting to realize that they can move here to South Carolina, and if you have any interest in outdoor recreational activities, it is a gold mine. If you're living here in Columbia, you have access to the foothills of the mountains, or you can be at the beach within 2 hours. And depending upon what you're looking for, maybe you want to see mountain laurel or take a great picture of a bear running through the forest, or looking at the great hardwoods that we have in the upstate, or being here in the Midlands where we have a lot of incredible places as far as our longleaf pine ecosystems. When you go over toward Aiken, there's a lot of horse culture over there, but you get a chance to see a lot of that, the Midlands, and moving over even toward Kershaw, you get a chance to see a lot of pine trees. A lot of people around the nation are not used to seeing that much contiguous or consistent forest together. And then we have an incredible amount of swamps in the lower part of the state. This is something that most South Carolinians, they know that it's there, and we realize the beauty, but a lot of people from around the nation are starting to realize the great wealth that we have here as far as our natural resources, and that's why they're coming here.
What we're talking about next is all the way from boating down the rivers to trips you can take biking, camping, hiking, kayaking, different things. But when you're doing a lot of that, I know you've told me a number of times that the bears here in South Carolina, there's been no real documented attacks of bears.
No.
But that out of state, there have been a little bit more with things coming. So make sure if you're on trails and stuff, you're taking some sort of. I've ran up at Table Rock in Greenville, ran into a bear that I saw, but that bear was running away from me, going as hard as it could. But just for safety.
And let me say, most of the wildlife here in South Carolina, you have nothing to be afraid of, but it's always a good idea to be smart. Carry a little pepper spray with you, or bear spray, walking stick. Now, there are, some wildlife, we do have venomous snakes here in South Carolina. The bears, when they see you, like Chad said, they usually run away. If one doesn't and it starts to approach you, which is an odd thing, they may think you have food, or if you're camping, it's always wise to make sure you put your food in a separate location than where you're sleeping. The biggest thing is if you have any questions, you can talk to your state park officials, or you can call your wildlife officials, and they can inform you of anything that you need to take or anything that you need to have with you if you're going hiking or if you're camping.
Isn't there pretty much a good bit of sport? There's ranges everywhere you look at, from skeet shooting to a number of different things that you can do here as well, that a lot of the rest of the U.S. just doesn't do as much anymore.
Yeah, so we have archery targets set up and competitions around the state. We even have archeries in the school. We have some really nice ranges that you can go to. We have an incredible one here in Columbia, which is the Watery Rifle Range, which is down on Highway 378. And they're actually building a new facility that's going to be in that same area that they've placed a lot of money into. And it's going to be a lot of competition shooting. There's going to be, you can go shoot clay pigeons. You can go sight in rifles. You can go practice with your pistols.
The reason people is lower cost of living, but a lot of the reason people are Columbian. Not only Fort Jackson's here as far as military, you've got other Air Force or bases also out towards Southeast Columbia in Shaw and McIntyre. But also everything that he's talking about, you can go out to the beach and go deep sea fishing. Mm-hmm. You can go up and do from gators to bears, or a little more upstate to there's different places you can go. Anything else? The one thing I did want to say was the boating trips. We're hoping to do this soon, that you can go all the way from with the locks going all the way to Charleston. A lot of people do camping You can do guided tours. You can do it yourself, however you want.
Right. So let's say you're somebody that really enjoys outdoor recreation, but hunting or fishing is not your thing. Well, there are a host of other activities that you can get involved with. The boating is a great one. We have rivers in the upper part of the state. We have, of course, the Broad, the Tiger, the Innery. You also have down here, we mentioned the Saluda, the Broad, the Congaree, the Watery River, and then we have the Santee Cooper. We even have on some stretches of the river where people may float on inner tubes. Going down through the locks, however, between Lake Marion and Lake Moultrie is something that everybody should experience. So you get a chance to start. One lake is a little higher than the other one. So you actually go into the locks and they fill it up and you sit there on the boat. And of course, they open the other side and you're able to go through and you can actually make the trip from the middle of the state all the way down to Charleston. And a lot of people take this as a vacation, an event to enjoy the river, to stop in the restaurants along the way, the places where you can kind of pull off and camp. So, or go all the way down to Charleston and have an event there where you want to have a great dinner. And then you can have some trip where they bring you back up to the main part of Columbia. The boating and the kayaking. The other thing is hiking is a big thing here in our state. So along with a lot of the properties that we have here from the state parks, national parks and DNR properties or Department of Natural Resource properties, you can ride your bikes. Right here in Columbia, we have Harbison State Forest, many different trails that you can jump on and have a great ride. Camping, with those 40-something state parks around the state, I would encourage anybody to go out and see just the diversity of beauty that we have here in our state and try to hit each one of those state parks. This offers an opportunity to get out and actually enjoy wildlife. The other thing I say, I love to bird. Most people say, well, you go out and you love to hunt. Yes, I do, but I also love birding. On my first trip going out, when I started learning about birding, I was able to identify like 65 different species. The other thing, if you are into wildlife photography or just wildlife viewing, we have wildlife viewing stands where you can go out with a pair of binoculars and you can see these different species. People are starting to realize that we have a really good deal here, not only in Columbia, but throughout the state of South Carolina. And that's one of the reasons why people are moving here and buying houses here at property.
Many people, when they think of camping, they think of, especially coming from out of state, they're not into it. Well, a lot of these state parks and stuff, they have primitive camping.
Yes.
They have regular tent camping where you have electricity or you can bring RVs in.
Or the glory of camping.
Or you can also, many of the state parks and stuff have cabins you can rent as well.
Or if you only want, let's say, electric and water hookup, they have that as well, but you want to stay in your tent. So all of that's available.
So you can do however you want. Lake Murray here, I love doing primitive camping. Back when I had a boat, we'd probably get involved more with the boat club next year, but being able to go out to the islands in Lake Murray and actually camping on those too. That we have here in South Carolina. And this is what a lot of people are moving here. 2024, we were the fourth most state being moved to. Most of the people that are moving here are from up north, even out west, but a lot of them are in North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida are some of the top states. Listen, I wanted to get you guys in here and do this because it's just a wealth of knowledge here with Willie. We ended, of course, some of those lesser things that people don't think about, like he was talking about with photography, bird watching, things like that. You can do them a lot. The one national forest we have, Congaree,
yes,
that's over there, and it's a huge place that you could go bird watching. But when is the best time to even go do that? It's like 4 or 5 in the morning, isn't it?
Well, no, it varies. So the bird watching down there, you can go, but you got to be prepared for it. Take spray with you. There'll be a lot of insects. They have a boardwalk, and you got to realize you're down in the Congaree National Swamp. You can go down there during the afternoons, mornings, whenever you would like, depending on how much heat that you would like to deal with, or depending on the time of year. But I've been down there birding. It's a wonderful experience. You can also grab a kayak or canoe.
Listen, guys, go ahead, and if you like the information, comment. Let me know if you have any questions for Willie. Hit the comments. Like I said, all my information's in the description below. You can set up a Zoom call with me. If you have questions on this, if you have questions on houses, call me. It will be me answering the phone. And eventually, Willie and I are going to be doing real estate together. Looking so forward to it. And until the next one.